What's up, everybody? This is George Assassin coming at you with the very first ever WWC podcast where I'll be going over Anarchy and Carnage from the past week and a few other things. This is the very first ever podcast, so there may be there may be some stuff broken or stuff not going the right way. So just bear with me in this first episode as I work on making it better. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. So let's get started here. So WWC Anarchy. Let's take a look back at last week's card, where they started off with a triple or fatal four-way between Darian, William Kingsman, Beast, and Dallas Havoc. Um, Darian came away with a win in that match, which is pretty solid. Beast, he's been on pretty much of a slump. Kingsman tends to have problems pinning somebody. Dallas is pretty much unpredictable in that match, but Darian came away with a win in that match. Match number 2, we had Beast of the Bayou taking on the Anarchy Tag Champs, Tons of Funk. Now, me going into this match, as big of a tear Tons of Funk has been on lately, I had them winning this, but Beast of the Bayou pulled the win out, which is pretty impressive, being, like I said, Tons of Funk has been unbeatable the last few times they've tagged up with each other. So kudos to Beast of the Bayou on that win. Now the third match, we had a cruiserweight match, which was for the cruiserweight title between Kenji and Tater Tot. Now Tater Tot has been unbeatable since he's held this cruiserweight title. So it was my pick going in. Tater Tot would win this, and Tater Tot did win it. It was a really good match though between them two. Probably the best cruiserweight match in Anarchy so far. But Tater Tot takes the win and retains his title. Now, the next match was a triple threat between Master Flex, Marcus Beldua, and Donnie Havoc. Well, we all know that Donnie Havoc can't win a match to save his life. So we pretty much knew where he stood in this match. And Master Flex, he's been on a pretty bad losing streak himself. And Marcus Beldua come into this match pretty much pissed off already, because at the beginning of Anarchy, Wick Villa attacked him backstage to kick off Anarchy. So Marcus come into this match in a bad mood and pretty much did what we expected him to do and just took out Master Flex and Donnie Havoc and picked up the win. The fifth match of the night was between VIP and Dead Man Walking for the Twitch Live Championship. Now, I have VIP winning this because of the role he's been on. He's been on a pretty good role since his debut. Dead Man Walking, since his return, he won the Twitch Live Championship, and in this match successfully retained his title, which Dead Man Walking picks up the win in this match. That was a really good match too. Then the sixth match of the night. Now this match has a lot of controversy in it. It was between Laker Taker and D-Rod, the CEO of Anarchy. Now this was supposed to be Laker Taker versus Wick Villa on the card that they posted. Now, when the match started, Laker Taker come out, and everybody was expecting Wick to come out. No, it was D-Rod pulling his normal stunts, putting himself in a match against Laker Taker. Now, the match was pretty good. The match was really good. The ending is where all the controversy was. Laker Taker pins D-Rod 1, 2, 3, wins the match. But D-Rod plan backfired on him. He was trying to cut the match before we seen the winner. He was trying to put a screen up showing to block that, and it backfired on him. Laker Taker picks up the win in this match, 1, 2, 3. The main event of Anarchy was Ziggy Mac versus Master Funk and Creed. Now, Ziggy Mac, he lost the title to Creed a while back and hasn't been in too many matches lately. But it has a really good call in this universe. So you never know what to expect with Ziggy Mac. Master Funk, he's a wild card. He could go either way. Creed, he's been on fire since he's won the World Anarchy title. Can't seem to be beat. He has a really good call right now, and I look for him to hold that title for a lot longer. So, out of all the matches, I'm going to probably have to give Match of the Night to Beast of the Bayou beating Tons of Funk. Just because Tons of Funk has been so unbeatable lately, Beast of the Bayou comes in and picks a win up over the tag champs. Now, I give Carnage, out of 5 stars, I give Carnage 3 stars for this show. And the reason I do that is I may have had that first match wrong. That may have been a 6-man. Other than that, no, it was a 4-man. My bad. Never mind. Excuse me. I give Beast of the Bayou the Match of the Night in this one. And the reason I'm only giving it 3 stars is because of the incident in the co-main event between Laker Taker and D-Rod, trying to pull one over on Laker Taker and try to take his win away. So that's my review on Anarchy. 3 stars out of 5 due to shenanigans by the CEO/commissioner of Anarchy, and that cost them probably a good 4 or 5 stars on this show if it wasn't for that. But I give them 3 stars just for that. So for Anarchy, don't really have any rumors or news going on for this week for them. I know the upcoming week they're supposed to have a pay-per-view sort of style show, not considered a pay-per-view. It's just going to be some pay-per-view type matches, I guess. I know one of the matches planned is Donnie and Dallas Havoc versus the Wolfpack, Laker Taker and Ziggy. That should be a pretty good match, maybe. We got a debut, I think, on Anarchy coming up this week. Other than that, really not too much to report for Anarchy. No rumors or anything. So for Anarchy, 3 out of 5 stars this week. Some really good matches other than the shenanigans, and that cost them stars in my book. So that's why I only gave them 3 out of 5 stars. Now let's move over to Carnage, and let's go over what we got going on for Carnage this week. Now for Carnage, they had a pretty good card this week. I will say that. I know the card was mainly, from what I read, was a rankings sorted out type of week to get people situated in the rankings to get them in some matches, to get some wins or losses, just so that the rankings can kind of get sorted out. But their card consisted of, they had Alex Carter versus Jigsaw. Jigsaw comes away with a win, which I was pulling for Jigsaw in this match, and Jigsaw won it. Second match of their card was Victor Payne versus Mark Staniak. Not too impressed with Victor Payne. Been a big fan of the Staniak since they was introduced. And Mark Staniak comes away with a win in an Extreme Rules match, which is really good. Mark Staniak is probably the better of the two Staniak brothers, and he pulled away the win in this match. Third match of the night was Timothy Armstrong versus Dean Staniak in a tables match. Again, Staniaks, they've been pretty good in this universe this year. And Dean Staniak comes away with the win over Timothy Armstrong. Now, Timothy Armstrong, not sure what his record is, but I think he's won a few and lost a few. So, big win by Dean Staniak. Next match was a really good match. This was probably the best match on Anarchy that night, which was between Mr. Havoc and Third Gunman. I thought Mr. Havoc might pull this win out, but it was a great match. They both fought really, really hard in this match. Third Gunman comes away with a win, which is pretty impressive over Mr. Havoc, because Mr. Havoc's one of those guys you just never know how he's going to come into the match that night. But Third Gunman walks away with the win in that match. Next match was between Rogan and Third Street Saints. Now, I had Third Street Saints winning this match just because of his size. I thought the size advantage would play a big difference in this match, but I was totally wrong. Rogan comes away with a win against Third Street Saints, in my opinion, an upset over Third Street Saints. I really thought Third Street Saints had this match, but Rogan surprised me and come away with a win. Co-main event of that night was between Pee Wee, Desmond Havoc in a submission match. Now, Desmond Havoc has been so-so, not really good, not really bad, but Pee Wee is another one of those wild card guys. You just never know how he's going to come into the match that night. But Pee Wee Tyler comes away with a win over Desmond Havoc in a submission match. Now, the match, everybody had so much crap to talk about, was between Middle Fingers and Wolfpack. All I've seen in chat was Wolfpack's gonna lose. Wolfpack's gonna lose. Well, Middle Fingers had a lot of smack talk going on in the chat, talking about how they was gonna whip Wolfpack. So on, blah blah blah. Well, Wolfpack had other thoughts on that as they come into the night and take out Middle Fingers in a 3-on-3 elimination tag. Wolfpack picks up the win. So, I guess with Wolfpack winning, I guess the best thing you say is, just shut up. And I think that's what they did. They shut up a lot of people that night by winning that match. Now, by far, match of the night would have to be, if I had to pick one, would probably have to be the Mr. Havoc versus Third Gunman for match of the night on Carnage. Now, I give Carnage a... Well, I didn't have this set up, my bad. I give Carnage 4 out of 5 stars because all their matches were really, really good that night. Would have been 5 stars, but being the type of card it was, and the reasoning behind it being it was just a fill-in ranks type of card, I didn't give them 5 stars. I gave them 4 stars because a lot of these matches were really, really good, and therefore they win. In my opinion, they win show of the week, and kudos to them for a great card. Hopefully Anarchy's got it together this week and can put on a little better show. Next thing would be, for the first time on, which is my first podcast, I'll be giving out awards to certain individuals or certain tag teams based on their performances that week. So for Anarchy, let's get on with their awards. For Anarchy's biggest winner, I went with Tater Tot over Kenji Guma, just because Tater Tot has defended that title over and over and over, and nobody seems to can take that cruiserweight title from him. So he gets my biggest winner tonight on Anarchy, and hopefully he continues to retain that title, because right now he is just unbeatable. Now, the next award goes out to the biggest loser on Anarchy. And for the biggest loser on Anarchy, I went with Tons of Funk. Now, the reason behind that is just because they have been so dominant in the tag division. And for Beast of the Bayou to come in and beat Tons of Funk, I think that's a big thing. So, to me, Tons of Funk was the biggest loser on Anarchy that night, just for the sheer fact that they've been some pretty dominant tag team and got beat by a pretty new tag team, Beast of the Bayou. So, Tons of Funk, congrats on being the biggest loser on Anarchy. Now, the third award goes out to the person on the show that night that tried. I mean, at least they tried, right? So, the Anarchy You Tried award goes out to let's see. Goes out to, sorry guys, D-Rod 2222. You tried so hard to screw over Laker Taker. You tried to rig the screen so nobody would see that Laker Taker pinned you 1, 2, 3. So pretty much D-Rod 2222 gets the Anarchy You Tried award for this week. Good try, D-Rod. You tried. Now, moving on to Carnage. Got their awards to get out. This week on Carnage, the Carnage biggest winner I awarded to Wolfpack. The reason so is they was under so much verbal abuse about Middle Fingers is going to come in and take Wolfpack out. A couple people in chat said it, and it was said a lot. Middle Fingers talking trash that they gonna come in and take Wolfpack out. As usual, Wolfpack proves everybody wrong, and that's why Wolfpack wins Carnage biggest winner award of the week. Now, same as Anarchy, Carnage gets the biggest loser award, and this week on Carnage, I award the biggest loser award to Mr. Havoc, just because that match was epic. He comes in that match against Third Gunman, puts a fight on for the ages, and just comes away empty-handed. It could have went either way in that match. Third Gunman and Mr. Havoc fought like hell in that match. But Mr. Havoc comes away with, to me, the biggest loss that week. So congratulations to Mr. Havoc for being the biggest loser on Carnage. Now, of course, can't have a You Try on Anarchy without having a You Tried on Carnage. And this week, the You Tried award goes out to Middle Fingers. Of course, right? They talked so much smack all that week before their match with Wolfpack. Talking about they gonna kick Wolfpack's ass, blah, whatever. Get to the match, and pretty much they tried. They tried to beat Wolfpack. That's all they could do is try, right? So this week, certificate of excellence for trying goes to Middle Fingers on Carnage. Thank you for trying, Middle Fingers. Maybe next time you might want to try a little bit harder. So now there's one last award. This award was kind of spurred of the moment, and I think that I'm going to keep it around every week. This award is awarded to one individual out of both shows, and this individual, I don't think this award is something to be proud of, but this week's Howboy Award goes out to none other than D-Rod 2222. Welcome to the Howboy Award Club, D-Rod. And this award is pretty fitting for how you went about trying to screw Laker Taker out of his win, trying to cover up the screen on your stream, and it failed. So D-Rod wins the WWC Official Howboy Award for this week. Congratulations, D-Rod. Now, last part of the show, I want to go over. Carnage has a few things they would like to announce this week. And those things are a few matches. We have Crusher versus Armstrong versus Payne versus Alex Carter in a Fatal 4-Way TLC for the Tater Tot title coming up this week. That should be a really, really good match. Another match that they have announced is Dread Havoc versus Rogan for the Intercontinental title, and that is going to take place in a steel cage match. Now this match should be really, really good, so I'm looking forward to that one. Also, rumors are that Mr. Havoc has demanded a match at the pay-per-view this week, and Week Via, the commissioner, told him that there isn't a match for him on the card, so I guess we'll see how that plays out. As everybody knows, this week's Carnage is a pay-per-view named Everything on the Line. So make sure to tune in this Saturday night for that. Also, some more breaking news is that Middle Fingers were no shows to one of Carnage's house shows this week. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out with Carnage being, that they just decided not to show up. So that's pretty much the news for Carnage, a little bit of rumors. We'll see how Mr. Havoc handles his demands and the repercussions of Middle Fingers being no shows. It's pretty good matches scheduled for the pay-per-view. Nothing for Carnage. They didn't send me anything. Other than the few matches they have scheduled, which is the Dallas Donnie Havoc versus Wolfpack. So I guess that's going to be it for my first podcast for WWC. I know it's a little bit rough around the edges, but I'm going to improve. Nothing I can do but improve from here on forward, so just bear with me. Tomorrow night will be a guest version of WWC podcast. I will have D-Rod 2222 on the show. If you have any questions for him, just send me some questions on Twitter in a DM, and I'll make sure to ask them. Looking forward to that. And I think that's it for this week's show. Again, sorry if it's a bit rough around the edges. Just my very first one, so I'm still figuring things out. But I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to view this and leave your thoughts, improvements, recommendations. And everyone have a great day or night wherever you may live. And